we got Mike Zimba. This would change how you see Chet Holmgren. Chet playing his rookie year this upcoming year. When are you gonna play in the summer league? Is Chet gonna play in the summer league or not?
Rookie Chet Holmgren will miss the entire. The breaking news from the NBA is not good. Rookie.
What is this?
Chet Holmgren will miss the entire upcoming season because of a Liz Frank injury.
Chet Holmgren is a dude that's 7'1". He ain't even 200 pounds. That's how skinny and frail he is.
He seems to be the biggest gamble. Are you concerned about his frame?
Anytime we hear about a big man in foot injuries, guys who had their careers cut short.
I just hope this isn't an ominous bad sign. Obviously, there's going to be some concern.
People focusing on the wrong
Chet
Holmgren can be.
I know that's how they screamed his name once he got in trouble, bro. When he was a kid. Chet.
Coming of Kevin Durant. That's where we got to slow down a little bit.
He's minute, bone skinny. If he turns sideways, you may not be able to see him. I can't look at Chet Holmgren now and somehow see Kevin Durant. In the real NBA, there's going to be a man in front of him. It's going to be different.
He has a year to bulk. He had a year to bulk up.
Has the NBA forgotten about its next superstar? Have we forgotten about perhaps the next rookie of the year in Chet Holmgren? A very large statement to say, I know, especially when we just had one of the best drafts in recent memory, especially when Victor Wembanyama, perhaps the greatest prospect we have ever seen, will be Chet's competition for rookie of the year. But we have seen two things. One, we have seen the Oklahoma City Thunder prove to be the best young roster in the NBA with Shea and Josh Giddey if they also have a franchise cornerstone in Chet. And two, we have seen that before the injury that sidelined him, we have to remember just how incredible Chet has already proven to be. When looking at Chet Holmgren's freshman season at Gonzaga compared to the freshman years of elite defensive big men Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, and Jaren Jackson Jr., Chet's freshman season stacks right up there with some of the best defensive big men in the game right now. Keep in mind for defensive rating, the lower the better, and also keep in mind that among the NBA's elite defensive big men who played at least 1 year in college for us to compare to, I think we can all agree numbers-wise, a college Chet Holmgren ranks ahead of Joel Embiid and Jaren Jackson Jr. and sits just below Anthony Davis as a defensive prospect coming into the NBA. So what's up, guys?
So it's Victor, Bobo, and Chet.
Mike here, and yes, that is the type of prospect we are looking at in Chet Holmgren. We have what 5 years ago would have been described as a unicorn, a player who can shoot threes, can create off the dribble in the half court, runs the break, and finishes at an extremely high level in transition, and with an absurd 7'6" wingspan, has proven he can dominate the game on the defensive end in a way that is simply disruptive. It was just 1 year ago today when Chet Holmgren was seen as a potential generational prospect, a do-it-all freak of nature who, if he could just put on some weight, could be an.
That's against Embiid though. He's going against Embiid.
Who, if he could just
That's against Embiid.
Put on some weight, could be an all-time
And Tatum.
freak of nature.
It's Embiid. Is that DeRozan? That's DeRozan. That's Patrick Williams, Embiid, DeRozan, and Tatum.
Just put on some weight. Could be an all-time.
And Trae Young.
Making. Did we forget about his summer league performance? The one where he not only dominated in a way that made us all shake our heads, but also did we forget that Chet, after finishing with 23 points and 6 blocks, took to Twitter and simply laughed, telling the rest of the league what a joke it was that anyone would think that he was the number 2 player in his class. Here's what Chet did.
One steal leads to the other. Holmgren up top and down.
Both teams had was just driving into the paint, creating.
That's against Taco. That's against Taco.
The second free ball by the number 2 pick.
And they have to find an answer for the unicorn.
Step back block by Holmgren. That's what he does. Here's Law, baseline. Takes it right at Holmgren. And guess what? Denied.
But before we continue, guys, I'm very excited to say that today's video is sponsored.
Max.
Today's video. With this game, Chet showcased not only his elite talent, but also, going further, his true generational potential as a two-way defensive star. And again, just 1 season ago, he had a freak injury, and now he's looking to not play in his rookie season.
How's this man wearing that?
Freak injury, an injury with LeBron James that was just that, a one-time thing. This was not
in a pro-am game.
Degenerative condition that led to an injury.
And the floor was slippery too. I remember Jamal Crawford pro-am game in Seattle, and they had to end the game early because the floor was slippery and had no traction on it whatsoever.
Should just happen to Chet. And so now with year 2, I think we have to go back into the mindset of where we were last season, because we just saw the Oklahoma City Thunder seriously prove that if they do have a generational talent at center, they also have a potential trio of young players that could take over the Western Conference whenever Nikola Jokic is done with it. Because with Chet, the numbers speak for themselves with his freshman season. He showcased a historically dominant skill package on the defensive end that had him in 2022 leading the entire NCAA in defensive rating with a rating of 78.7, the 4th ever since that stat was tracked. That was just 1 season ago, when Chet also just so happened to help Gonzaga finish as the #1 ranked team in the nation, while also he led the entire NCAA in effective field goal percentage, and going back to the defensive end, was 2nd in defensive plus minus, finishing with a number of 7.5 that makes him 8th in history since the stat was tracked. So looking at all of these defensive numbers, he's going to have a chance to follow players such as Blake Griffin and Joel Embiid, who sat out their first pro year, but then in their first real rookie season were able to use their pro experience to dominate early and grab Rookie of the Year. Chet is on the Thunder.
Embiid didn't win Rookie of the Year.
A young superstar in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, along with a potential soon-to-be all-star in Josh Giddey. Most young players in the NBA get, to be honest, screwed by the team that they are playing on as a young player. For top 5 picks in the NBA, the reality is a harsh one. Your situation as a player is out of your control, and you are often heading to a franchise that is in shambles, or at least the roster is far, far from contention. Meanwhile, though, for Chet, OKC is the ideal situation for him. A young, talented group of competitors who will be pushing for a middle of the Western Conference playoff seed next year. What better environment could we ask for? Especially
think the Thunder gonna make the playoffs next year?
They need a center. That is what we're going to be watching next year, and at this point in time, when it comes to Rookie of the Year, I think we can all agree that Victor Wembanyama looks like he is going to be a generational prospect. One of the most special players we have ever seen. It is here, though, that I do want to point to Scotty Barnes' Rookie of the Year trophy right now. If Chet is
That's not even a trophy, that's a ball, bro. Hey, get that man a ball. Re-1 Rookie of the Year, here goes a ball.
Trophy right now.
Oh, what is going on with the NBA? What is Adam Silver doing?
They are competing for the middle of the Western Conference, while Wemby is playing on a Spurs team that is more in the 12 to 14 range. Because let's be honest, San Antonio's roster does need a lot of help. If that is the case, Wemby could put up better numbers, but with winning on his side, I would definitely not count out Chet. It is here that I do want to bring up the fact that despite their similar makeups in height and weight, Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren have vastly different games. Wemby is training his overall game to be that of an offensive superstar quickly. We were watching him launch off the dribble NBA threes against the G League Ignite last year. Chet needs to be seen in a different category, and that is one of an absolutely elite defensive star.
Oh, defense.
Defensive star. That is what Chet is in terms of prospects, at least. A potential freak who can control the paint, protect the rim, and use his mobility to move those feet and defend switches in a way where, again, he disrupts entire offenses. I don't want to say Giannis, because Chet Holmgren is not as fast as Giannis, but Giannis is not as tall as Chet. Giannis's nickname is the Greek Freak. The reason being that on the court, he just does things that other players are not able to do on the defensive end. Same goes with Chet Holmgren. We have watched.
I mean, he's like 2 inches taller than Giannis, but Wemby's 5 inches taller than Durant. What did he do?
Careers out of people. And one of the biggest.
So what's the difference?
Why Chet Holmgren is such an elite defensive prospect is that
that's everyone. I know everyone has their unique game, but they had like similar structures.
High-level hustle player who will do anything to win basketball games, but also has the talent of a top-tier young player. That is a combination on defense that is something teams dream of. So far, we have watched the number.
Northeastern is empowering.
Marcus, are you talking about Northeastern? I know you went there.
In environmental.
Number 1 pick in Chet's class, Paolo Banchero, have such a successful rookie year that he is already a part of FIBA's Team USA World Cup roster. On draft night, many believed Orlando would go with Chet over Paolo. Chet was seen on draft night by many as better than Paulo. Here's what the Athletics final 2022 mock draft had to say, which had Chet ranked at number 1. The word unique is overused in scouting circles, but Holmgren is that. There has never been a prospect like this to enter the draft. He is one of the best defenders I have ever evaluated as a teenager. He's positionally elite already and has every length-based tool at 7 foot with a 7'6" wingspan. His anticipation and instincts are insane. Those are some huge words. And as for his own teammates, I love what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has to say about Chet, because this isn't just some fluff. Shai said, "The kid wants to be good, and I think that's the biggest thing. He wants to be really good. He wants to prove himself to the world, and that fire in him is impressive, and I think he's gonna be a heck of a basketball player. I 100% believe that." We have seen the work that Chet has put in. Yes, the muscle might not be there yet, but I think you can certainly tell a difference. I think that Chet is just working at one of those Kevin Durant, not able to do a single bench press of 180.
No!
At the draft.
This man hasn't eaten in days. What?
Body type. So if anything, putting on that weight might have great long-term effects for Chet Holmgren's future. And I do really believe in Chet's talent. I also believe in his on-court motor, and I believe in his work ethic to keep playing at an elite level. I think the real question is, after this freak injury, will he stay healthy? Will it have any long-term effects? I really hope not, because I do think that if Chet does stay healthy, he's going to be a special player. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. That way you never miss a video. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music. If you're still